Alright, let's talk about why a strong currency is irrelevant. Or why Keynesian economists are just blatantly wrong. They seem to spend all this time talking about how if a currency becomes stronger, it makes exports more expensive. Oh no, we're all gonna, it's gonna hurt economic growth and jobs. Actually, it doesn't really matter whether a currency is strong or not, okay? So if you're from another country, or you're an American, or you work in the United States, this is a video about reality, okay? This is a video about what actually happens in reality, okay? And Keynesian economists are not living in reality, and anybody who complains about a strong currency is not living in reality. Okay, so let's introduce our wonderful, intelligent, incredibly intelligent Ivy League graduates who think they know everything. Governor Walker heads off to the United Kingdom to work on, and he even says it, increasing trade and investment like dead giveaways. Go look at the trade numbers. And what does our wonderful, intelligent Harvard Law graduates say? What the heck does this have to do with your state? Stop campaigning like Christie and do your job. Well, now that you mentioned, Miss Harvard Law graduate, turns out the United Kingdom, Wisconsin, increased their exports by almost 25% to the United Kingdom. Wait a minute. This was in 2014. Now, some of you know exactly where I'm going with this. This was the US dollar against the British pound in 2014. You'll notice something that's kind of interesting, and that is the US dollar was going up in value relative to the British pound. Now, I know you're looking at the chart and it's down, but that's because we're looking at the value of the British pound to US dollars. So the inverse of that would be an inverted graph, of course. So in other words, the US dollar was getting stronger in 2014, but Wisconsin increased its exports. I thought, according to Keynesians, this couldn't happen. Like, what? This should be backwards, right? Wisconsin, we should not see positive numbers on this list. We should see all negative numbers. In fact, 7.94 billion. It should be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? Because that's the deal. A strong currency hurts exports. Well, actually, that's not true. So I'll look at it as an example. So I'll demonstrate that with a little example here, where we'll call you George. You own 5 Bitcoins. And currently Bitcoin at this time in our imagined scenario is the strongest currency in the world, and it's worth $2,000, okay? So you have a total of $10,000. And for whatever reason, you somehow magically know that at the end of the year, Bitcoin is going to be worth $5,000. So you'll have a total of $25,000, okay? Now suppose I come to you and I say, hey, George, you're one of my first potential customers, and I have an electric generator here that generates energy for your house, for all of your consumption, okay? And it cost, ready for it, $5,000. And it has a lifetime warranty, okay? So I'm selling a generator for $5,000. That's half of your Bitcoins, right? You have only $10,000 right now. You know it's going to be $25,000. But I'm selling a generator for $5,000 that you can generate all your electricity. And heck, let's suppose you're about to buy an electric car. And you're thinking, hey, I'm going to generate all my electricity. Now I'm going to be able to power my car. Man, I'm going to be saving money like crazy. So let's suppose you do the math and you crunch the numbers and you figure out that you're going to save at least $500. Some months or more, but you're going to save at least $500 a month by producing all of your own electricity. Okay? Now, in this case, George has a couple of options. $500 a month in energy is basically $6,000 a year. Okay? And remember, that's the minimum. So at least $6,000 you're spending, right? So you could go ahead and you could pay 2.5 Bitcoins now, and you could save $6,000 a year, and we could all do the math and say, well, you actually got a worse deal because you should wait by the end of the year. The problem, and some consumers, by the way, would do both, right? George, in our case, would probably hold on to his Bitcoins temporarily, wait till they increase in value, and then sell at a certain point. But there is going to be a problem coming along the line, which is, if I'm just introducing this product as a lifetime warranty, there might be other demand, and other people might demand it and take it off the market, and then there might be a wait. So when it does go up to $25,000, you might be waiting in line, right? So there's a lot of other factors there, and some people would take it immediately. For case in point, my father, who who I love, but he's kind of an end of the world paranoia type, very, very paranoid. He would buy it immediately because he would love the prospect of producing his own energy. To him, saving $6,000 a year is a no-brainer because in 10 years you just saved $60,000, right? Plus it's not just saving the $60,000 over 10 years, you can produce your own energy. Like, that's pretty cool because there's all kinds of other stuff you could do now when you produce your own energy, right? So, and if it has a lifetime warranty, even better. So, probably George would wait in this case, right? And Keynesians would be like, that's because the currency is going up in value. But there is going to be a threshold that Bitcoin may hit where George isn't going to wait anymore, and he may take advantage of it, or he may regret waiting because who knows, maybe my product that produces all of its own electricity is in high demand, and now he's waiting in line for it, okay? So he has to wait and keep spending money on his electricity bill for a while, okay? Some people would immediately sell their Bitcoins because something's more valuable. But what I've demonstrated to you in that little simple example, and I'll give another one in a second though, is that really its value doesn't exist independent. That's one of the reasons why I don't like gold bugs. They're always talking about how the value of gold, it's historic, and the value of anything is always relative to other things, right? If oil prices fall and you're telling me you're buying gold, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, the gold to oil ratio is out of whack. I mean, it's actually cheaper to buy oil. I don't understand those people because it is about other things, right? You're always comparing. If the dollar goes up in value, there may be things that I want and like, no, I'd be happy to release some of my dollars back into the marketplace, right? Same thing with Bitcoins. The key though, and you'll notice in my example, is my solution is to a real problem. It's a problem that people face. Imagine if I tried to get him, or George, to sell 2.5 Bitcoins to me, get this, for a Maps application on his phone. Now, how many people think that's going to be successful? I know some of you are like, well, why don't you just use Google Maps or, Waze? Exactly. Why doesn't he use those? There's already products that solve that imagined problem. It's not really a problem, but anyway, it's an imagined problem. There's already products for that. Why does he need to buy my Maps application? You see, the strength of a currency doesn't matter when it's a solution to a real problem. If it's a real problem that people face, then people will spend the money that's required. Also, as well, and we do this in Texas, if the dollar goes up disproportionately in value, we know in Texas we're able to get more with our dollars. Well, knowing that, we can actually lower the price of our products for, let's say, foreign buyers because our currency is going up in value. So it's like, oh, we can lower the price, right? Because then we're getting those parts cheaper because we can get more with those dollars, so we can lower the price. So we can adjust the dollar as needed. Oh my gosh, that was so hard to do. Oh, no, it actually wasn't. I mean, it's actually pretty simple. Anyway, going back to another example, this person, George, owns 5 Bitcoins. Same example. This time, he has pancreatic cancer, and I have the cure. And you know what the cost of the pancreatic cancer is? It is 5 Bitcoins. Now, will George wait a year, which by the way would be a huge risk with pancreatic cancer, to where it goes to 25,000, to where he doesn't have to release as many Bitcoins, right? If I say, well, it's only really $10,000 is the cost, which is 5 Bitcoins, right? Or will George immediately pay for it because he has cancer and he values his life more? So see, the thing is that, and it really comes down to this, it is a comparative thing, right? If a currency rises in value, if there's a solution to a problem, it doesn't matter. If America wants to export to China, I'll tell you how America can export to China. And they can, by the way, take notes from Walker, right? This is a brilliant idea. Go to China and identify their 5 biggest problems and start working on a solution to those 5 big problems. Then get in touch with China and be like, hey guys. And they're like, hey, what's up? And you'd be like, hey, we got this solution to this problem over here. Water problem would be a big one. And we're going to charge so-and-so dollars. Do you think the Chinese are going to be like, oh, yes, water problems. We have major water problems. Oh, we need that. So, oh, no, it's too much. Just the dollar prices. It's just too high. Really? Really? You think they're going to do that? I mean, they need water, and they're going to turn it down because it's just $2 too much. Right? That's the point. What's happening in our economy, and we see this with jobs, we see this with everything, is that a lot of the jobs and a lot of the solutions or supposed solutions aren't solutions to real problems. Keynesian economics has not contributed to a labor surplus in medicine. It's actually made it worse. These QEs haven't increased the number of doctors we have, it's decreased it. Right? Medicine's only going to get more expensive. Keynesian economics hasn't contributed to more medical solutions. I guarantee you'd see people open up their wallet if they had cures for cancer, cures for HIV, cheaper pills, prescriptions, people would open up their wallet, right? People would, especially if you had preventative care that was more effective, people would open up their wallet for that, right? So people will take their dollars and they will spend their dollars, but they're going to be spending it on solutions to their problem. And that's why, listening to the market is very important, because the market is telling you what the problems are. I can look at, for instance, the labor shortage in medicine and see a major problem that's not being addressed at all. I can look at the cost of medicine and the cost of healthcare rising and see a major problem not being fixed at all, right? People will let go of their dollars if their currency is going up when it's an actual solution, when it's a solution to an actual problem. Until it's that, you're right, the market is rationally holding on to their dollars, and they should. Because if it's not a solution to a problem, it doesn't matter.